Welcome back to another edition of Down and Back with CornDoug. This week, another fun show. Eric Ryder from the ACL, and he's down at the ACL headquarters talking about all the stuff that's great stuff that's going on down there, some fun stuff, and as well as just kind of his take on some of the cornhole stuff. And it was just fun time to talk with him. So we have that, and we have live indoor cornhole back with KW here. We got some talk about that. Then and some of the other some other news coming out from ACL Canada. But first, everyone just this past week, I'm not sure if it was last week's guest, Mr. Chris Meek, on the show, but crazy like before, like in doing all the audio stuff that you can get on any of your where you get any audio podcast. My highest week has been like a 200 download week, and I'm like, oh. 200 for me from starting off has just been fine, but this week I gotta say, if anyone's returning, I gotta say thanks, because I've got 600 downloads this week, which is, like I said, for me is just that's mind blowing for me, and and as when Trey Ryder was on the show a couple weeks ago, he's talking about how like this show kind of started off from nothing. It was, and I talk about it all the time that Matt from Octane and I, we kind of talked about what we wanted to do with this show here when we first started off, and I was like, well, it was going to be like a bi-weekly kind of 10-minute, hey, here's what's going on in cornhole the last 2 weeks, to now we're going just being audio just on Facebook with nothing, to now we're now doing this here, and it's just been support messages I've been getting from everyone has just been kind of overwhelmingly great. It's fun. I'm having fun doing this here. I'm not stopping, no matter what people say. If I'm not an OG or whatever, which you'll find out more next week, because a big show next week that you'll find out at the closing. But just for everyone, for the audio stuff, if you can, hop over the YouTube page, just hit that subscribe button, hit the like. It'll take you like 2 minutes, just to show that, hey, you want to be in it. And then when you're doing that there, then you'll also be able to get in on some of the contests that we'll be announcing next week. So with that, yeah, just head over to the YouTube. You just hit that subscribe, or go to Facebook, hit the like as well too. Do both. It takes like 8 muscles, probably more in your hand. But anyway, if you can help out that way, it would be super fantastic for me. Just to show, because then with show sponsors and everything else, say, hey, we've got this going on. And yeah, so if you could do that, much appreciated. And if you're watching, you can probably see that the subscribe button's there. There's a thumb up there, and then way down below, leave a comment, whatever, good, bad, or otherwise, doesn't matter to me. Just leave a comment, let me know what you think of this show, and yeah, it'll be just like I said, I'm just having too much fun, and we'll go through, as we're already talking about with the show and that there, we might as well do the sponsor roll call now, because what else is it doing? They're going by the screen now. So you got Octane Cornhole, octanecornhole.com. Use discount code CornDoug to get all of your Octane needs, whether it be your hats, your shirts, your jerseys, your Octane gas cans for your bags, your whatever you need. Matt's got all that stuff on that website. Check that out for Octane. Then head over to myearfund.com. Get yourself a nice set of earbuds. Okay? Earbuds and waterproof Bluetooth speakers. Discount code CornDoug on there gets you 20% off of that. Check them out. They have great products and great stuff. I know Adam in Peterborough uses them. He loves them. So do yourself a favor. Go and check them out. Get yourself a set of these earbuds or your Bluetooth waterproof speaker for the pool. Then, right there, next one, right there, look at that, right there. jccornhole.com, fantastic boards. I was able to get a set, give a set away to a friend for a baby shower for this upcoming weekend. Great guy, Jamie. Check him out, all of his stuff. He does fantastic artwork. Tell him I sent you. He may give you a discount. Who knows with Jamie, because it all just depends. on the ciders, right, Jamie? Then, as always, if you're in the Alberta, Edmonton, easy for me to say, specific, Sherwood Park, Alberta, check out SierraHome.com. Talk to Darren there. Sierra Property Inspections. He does great work. He's been getting some great reviews there. He will help you out on anything you need with your first time buying home inspection, or even you want to just check things out. Give him a call. And as always, a portion goes to a cancer hospice for children in the Edmonton area. So it's great stuff that he does. And then as the new one that come by, talked to her last week, you'll be able to find local bags on CSCcornhole.com, Cornhole Supplies Canada. They're going to be having local bags. They have Reynolds, they have Fire, they have all cornholes, all slides, and game changers. Octane bags, check him out. He's going to be getting some more stuff up on the website and doing some great stuff there. So that's the sponsors. And talking about great stuff, it's been announced that we've got Alliston Cornhole, and I want to say Aurelia. All of the CornDoug Cornhole leagues will be part of the ACL Canada this year. I believe Peterborough announced that their league on Wednesday night that they are going to be ACL Canada. I don't want to fully commit for him, but I believe Essex was going to be on board. We got some great things happening as well. Cornhole Newfoundland, like, hey, stuff that Amber and Sean are doing out there is just fantastic. Getting a lot of viewers from there, which thank you for that. But just I think it's set to be a really good season. There's a lot of stuff on board coming on that's really starting to ramp up now. I'm going to say if you are in Canada and you want to get your ACL membership, I'm going to say first go to the app, get your profile set up. I'm going to say hold off a couple weeks here because I'm not sure if the Canadian pricing is fully up yet. So it'll work out if you want to do it now, get it now, and you want to get all those other big memberships. It'll probably cost you about $7 extra with the exchange rate. So if you're fine paying the extra $7, hey, fill your boots. If not, hold off a couple weeks until we finally get all of that all worked out and everything there. But head over to Facebook. ACL Canada on Facebook is now on Facebook. It's a thing. We can talk about ACL Canada. So everyone, let's fill it up. Let's get let's get 10,000 likes by October. How about that? We're only like a week away. Let's get 10,000 likes on there for ACL Canada. Get people talking about it because it is the #1 league for cornhole in Canada. It's just it's going to be fun this year. I cannot wait to get all of that off and running. Speaking of ACL, did you see that broadcast on the weekend? I liked it because all 4 of the singles competitors have been on this show. Sam Finley, Cheyenne Renner with the women's. It seemed like just Cheyenne put the foot on the pedal early, kept that going through the whole game. And, it's that thing where, we've kind of talked about it before, where do you need to have those big 5, 7, 8-point rounds? She was just getting 2 and then a little bit, just chipping away at that there. I was just fantastic. Cheyenne with the win, because really, what hasn't she won this year? Getting on to the men's singles, Hisner and Maudlin. I thought it wasn't the back and forth I thought it was going to be. Frank kind of took the lead early, kind of held it, and then at the end, Adam, we still don't know what's in that cup, although Josh Keck has said he will be finding out what's in that cup and coming on the show to reveal it. He's always said he won't come on the show because he doesn't want to do video, but he said he's going to come on the show. So Josh Keck, I am holding it to you because I seen it on a Facebook post. Yeah. So, but yeah, the big 4-point round at the end to win it for Adam Hisner. So congrats to him. I know he's had a great season. Frank has had an unbelievable season as well. Hopefully all 4 of those single players will be back on this show here soon. And we talk maybe even a couple of them because they're up in the northern area. Well, one of them, just Adam, up in the northern area. Hopefully he might come up and play some ACL Canada stuff. Who knows? Then heading over the doubles. The doubles, I want to say I thought that this might have been a closer game than what it was. Eric Davis and Brett Guy they took control of that match early and didn't let up. Like it was just a clinic of just what you need to do. So they take down Matt Guy and Jamie Graham. I think if you were to give an award this year for doubles player of the year, just one person who's excelled the most in doubles, I'd have to say you have to give it to Eric Davis because he went with multiple partners and just, taking down Spencer's and all the stuff he's done with any of the ACL blind draw tournaments that you see at the big events. That is just, he's been on fire all year. So it's just, I think big things for him to come next year in his second season in the ACL. I can't wait to see it. But enough of me talking. It's because we've got so much stuff going on. Can't wait to get this. Here is my talk with Mr. ACL headquarters. We'll find out more about that there. And now a good friend, because we did meet for, like I talked about it for like 2 or 3 seconds down in Cherokee back in 2018, because who didn't I meet down there? But yeah, here is my talk with Mr. Eric Ryder. And as promised, we've got Eric Ryder here. And if you don't know, maybe you might have been living under a rock at some point, but he kind of has a famous son in cornhole. Is that correct, Eric?
That is very correct. Yes, much more famous than me.
He's a small part of cornhole.
Yes,
right? It's just
very small.
And we've had him on the show like 5 or 6 times, so we might as well have the man on the show, right?
Well, it's good to be here. It really is. I enjoy talking to the cornhole world and hopefully bringing some light to some things that maybe people didn't know about.
Well, exactly. It's a blast. And as we were talking up here, we did get to meet briefly back, as I've only met everyone at 2018 down in Cherokee, where for me, everything kind of blew up because it was my first time being at a big event and just being able to see how so many of you guys were just so accommodating to us new Canadians.
Yeah, from where we were then to where we are now is just mind-boggling, and and where I see the future of cornhole, just it's the boundaries are unlimited, and we are going to just blow this out of the water at now that we have some additional investors and we're looking to expand this internationally. Maybe even one day, the goal obviously is to become an Olympic sport. So hopefully, at some point in time that becomes reality.
Well, exactly. Yeah, we're already off, just guns a blazing here. We had our first kind of ACL Canada preseason event, and we doubled our people who are at the event from any other time in the past. So I think we're starting off right up here in Canada as well too.
Yeah, I know everywhere seems to have that same effect. With the new, pro list that's going to be coming out, and just everybody wanting to be involved in some way or another. Our regional, I can tell you, in the past year, our regional went from 30 to 40 players to 120 to 140 players in just a short amount of time. And our first regional is October 2nd here. Dusty Thompson is the regional director here, and he'll be running it here at the HQ. How we're going to fit everybody here, we're going to have to divide those divisions up and stagger start times and everything else throughout the day and night. But it should be a fun year.
We'll talk more about that HQ because I'm actually jealous that you're there now. But as we know, fathers and sons all have a different way of seeing stuff. So we've heard from Trey how you guys got your start, but let's hear from you because I know it was at a tailgate, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, gosh, it was some 12, 13 years ago. We just went to a backyard cookout, and ironically, it was some people that we had known from New York, and they had pulled out some boards, and at the time they called it, I don't know if they called it bags or bean bag or something like that. So anyways, and they were kind of teaching us, how to play. And of course, they were 2x4 sided with some plywood on them and thrown some paint and some lacquer on them. And so we didn't know the difference, and they were corn bags. So, but it was enough. It was enough for me to go home and go online and order my first set of boards. And they were Red Sox boards, and they were these things must have weighed, one of them must have weighed, 20, 30 pounds of stuff because it had the 2x4s and the thick plywood. But I took those and I wore those out for years. I was hooked, hook, line, and sinker right from the beginning. Trey and I started playing in the backyard. We started getting our neighbors involved. We started having tournaments. We started doing, we're out there at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning on the weekends, and in the dead silent of the night. I know people can relate to this. You can hear the pounding of the bags, in that deep dark night, and it's completely quiet, but that's all you can hear for, a mile is those bags hitting the boards. And then from there, I just took it to another level. I bought some other boards. I put them outside and left them outside, and I just kept practicing and practicing, and Trey and I started playing together. We, back then, we try to find these sneaky little tournaments, and but initially we literally just got our butts just hammered week in and week out because we didn't know much about spinning a bag or anything like that. The players that we were playing with, there was nothing for us to reference until we went to one of the local tournaments. And we didn't realize how big it was in this Carolina area until we went to that tournament, and we saw, because we went 0-2, and I don't know if we scored a point. We ended up, I know we played like Danny Blanks and who was Danny playing at the time? I don't know if it was Crystal or somebody, but Crystal Manley was a local pro here, that legendary here. But it was just, to watch them at that point, they were, spinning bags and throwing flat and throwing air mails, and we were like, holy crap, we got a long ways to go. But, from there, we talked to people, we learned about weekly stuff that was going on. We'd go to at the time, Dusty Thompson, who I ended up partnering with a year or two. He was running a weekly thing, and he would get 40 to 50 teams on a weekly outside on a weekly basis at a local bar, and we would go to that. Of course, back then it was a bring your own partner tournament. It wasn't even a blind draw, and so in order for you to even sniff, top 10 or something, you'd had to been playing for a while. But we cut our teeth in that, and cut our teeth with the people from Gastonia, what we call Gas House crew. And that's how we started. And from there, it just led to me just becoming totally obsessed with the game. And being a little bit older, I was always competitive. I was always athletic. I was looking for an outlet that I could pour myself into and still have those competitive juices going. I coached Trey's baseball teams and Montana's soccer teams. And so I kept, that piece of it going. But then it became, okay, Trey decided he was going to go off to college, and he did. And he kind of, gave up, didn't really give up the game, but didn't really play as much. And that's when I really started focusing myself on playing in more of the top of the line tournaments and getting to the point where I could compete with everybody. And so that's kind of how it all fell into my lap.
Well, and you say that, the interesting thing you say there is that you were a competitive, you were into sports guy, because there's so many of the pros now that you see that have actually played other sports at a high level, and kind of, everyone that I've talked to kind of said, I'm able to kind of keep that competitive edge, if you can say, with the pro sports, because you got Ryan Smith, who was a football player, Stephen Burnett was a football player, Christine Papke was like a long distance runner, right? It's just, it's all those people that were in shape that were just kind of to keep that competitive going.
Right. And you mentioned a few of them, but there's a lot more of them. There's a lot more. There's a lot of athletes out there, and a lot of non-athletes that kind of picked up the game, and it just kind of felt natural to them. It's amazing to me when I hear and I talk to players, young players that and I say, how long have you been playing? About 8-9 months, and they're competing, at my level, and it's just amazing where the standard is so high now, and it's so difficult. I thought about not playing this year, but I am going to play this year. But the level in the rookie class of pros that are coming in, and just the level of play from top to bottom, even in the advanced division. I mean, there's a ton of advanced players that could play in that pro division. And what Trey and the team has developed as far as the pro division and how that keeps evolving. That'll keep evolving. I mean, everything has to evolve over time. And, it'll just keep getting better and more difficult. But, as far as the general public watching it on TV, it'll just be that much more better to watch with what some of these guys can do with bags now.
Exactly. And I want to say, because we've even seen it up here, just with the amount of new players we have coming out and how good they are starting off, that you almost think, for how bad COVID was, what it did for the game of cornhole, because people needed something to be able to go out and do outside without a lot of people. And you could do cornhole in your backyard with just kind of yourself or just people in your household. That's just exploded this game.
Yeah, it's I'm amazed. I mean, we had our world championships here, and it was an amazing week. It really was. But the fallout from that to where we're going to be this year with 16 opens, more pro shootouts, more, pro nationals, that those hungry players that, maybe didn't make the pro, but now we're in the PDC program or are in the advanced division, and then they're really hungry now to, to make their mark and to really jump up. And then we have the intermediate competitive players. Like, I have so many in this area now that I don't know where they came from, but just the exposure from TV and being in this area in Rock Hill, I can see these intermediate and competitive players just wanting, to have a piece of it and be a part of it, and to start developing themselves and getting themselves to the next level. I have blind draws here at the HQ, and we can talk about that in a minute, but almost on a daily basis. So it allows people to come out and play competitively almost daily if they want to.
So, before we get into the HQ stuff, I want to ask you, just because being in the game so long, what's the biggest? I'm trying to think of the right word to use here for it, but just the biggest, I don't know if you want to say innovation, or just the biggest thing to happen from when you started to what you see now.
It's equipment. So the bags have definitely changed the game. When we first went to that bring your own bag policy and all the backlash and all the talk that people were on social media and everything else, and that we were crazy to, and they didn't like it, and everybody should be using the same bags. It didn't make any sense.
No.
It didn't make any sense to us, because when in certain sports you have certain equipment that's tailored just for you, and so this is it. It made sense to us. Yeah, but have your own bags. but let's have regulations, let's have some standards, and that in itself, I think has really changed the game. What it did was, for the average player that just throws a nice soft high lofting bag, where they can go out and they can buy a bag specifically for that type of throw, where when that bag hits the board, it kind of just flattens out and goes straight. Or you have that hard thrower, or those young kids that like to flop and like to bend the bags and do so much more. They get bored by just throwing bags in the hole one after another after another. They don't want that. They want to make a mess around the hole. They want to be able to challenge the other player by blocking and rolling and doing all this other stuff. So to me, there's nothing that's changed the game more than the bags itself. Obviously the exposure and the amount of players that are playing has forced players to have to practice. And before, it's like, yeah, we'll go out and play, a few nights a week in blind draws and be some of the best. Now, as a professional, you really can't do that. You have to go out and throw bags almost daily. Whether it doesn't matter if it's 50 bags, 100 bags, or 1,000 bags. You have to stay on top of your game all the time. Now, obviously, we have a little bit of time. Our regional is just starting up, but you don't want to fall behind either. I like to take some time off after the season because it's such a long season. I like to just decompress and just walk away and not even throw a bag for at least 2 weeks. It's hard to do that now, though, because nothing stops. It just keeps going. And so, it's that part of it is very difficult. But I think between the bags and just having to focus, if you really want to be at the elite level, you have to practice. You just, and it's not just going out and throwing bags. You have to perform. You have to put yourself into game situations. You have to find someone that you can throw against that's going to challenge you. It's not just going out and throwing ghost games or something like that. You gotta go out and you gotta play in these competitive, even if it's a blind draw. Even if you go out and play in a blind draw, you're playing in a game situation all the time.
Exactly.
In those game situations, you can't take those lightly anymore. You can't, because those game situations, there are gonna be times when you're gonna have shots that you in a blind draw that you're gonna want. It's kind of your time. Okay, I've been working on this type of bag. This is the type of shot I want to work on. And you get in those blind draw situation or those games where it's not so much real meaningful, but it allows you to practice those type of shots that you've been trying to work on in practice.
Well, yeah, exactly. Because and we joked about. I joked with Jamie Cowan when we're up at the Octane Garage that it's just the ghost games and the deck runs are fun, but it doesn't. You still need that person beside you on the other side. He's even thought about having like a little mannequin on wheels that you can just wheel back and forth with them, because there is that feeling of that, that pressure of someone else standing there. Yeah. Right. It's just not your 4 bags.
Yeah, exactly. So I tell people all the time, and I told my partner this last year, when, especially like a lot of the pros, and some pros do and some pros don't. Okay, when you come out to practice for an hour or something before your tournament starts or something, or before any tournament starts, don't just go out there and just throw bags back and forth. Don't just play games. Play some games against the person, either your partner or someone else that's right there. If you want to get into game mode, just don't go out there and, you want to at first, get warmed up, but immediately get yourself into game mode and get yourself ready to be playing in certain situations, and play a game or two before you actually play your tournament.
Exactly. Yeah. And then you saying when to take your couple weeks off between this, at the end of one season, start a new season. I don't think you can do that anymore officially with your new title and in that new fresh building that you're sitting in right now that I'm really jealous about.
Yeah, this building here is quite amazing. There's we've been open up here to the general public for about a little over a month now, I think it is. And we run blind draws 5 days out of the 7 right now. We may actually amp that up to 6 days. Our regionals are going to be here once a month on Saturdays, but we run blind draws on Monday nights. We have one tonight. Wednesday nights, Thursday nights, 2 on Friday, 2 on Sunday. We had 2 yesterday back to back. And, are we saturating? Are we putting out too much? Sometimes I think, well, maybe we shouldn't have that many, because some nights you might get, 10 teams, and some nights you might get 25, 30 teams. Friday nights, Sunday afternoons tend to be the best times to come out and play. But those Wednesday, Thursdays, days, Mondays have been pretty good. We threw in a long toss too, money shot, and that helped bring out some people. But now the weather's starting to turn, and we have so many places in this area that you could play every night of the week, but a lot of them are outside.
Mhm.
And so once this weather starts to turn and it gets colder, everybody's going to look for a place to come indoors to play. And obviously this is a great place to come to get out of the heat, but it's also your best option for the wintertime. Now, right now we have 13 sets of boards here. We usually run our blind draws on 6 to 8 sets of boards, and then we keep the other boards open for anybody that comes in that wants to rent courts. And that's really what we're at. The word of mouth is getting around town. More and more people are coming in. More and more reservations are coming in. I get inquiries daily on people wanting to run fundraisers, and companies want to do team building stuff and have meetings here and then throw bags, and so it's really starting to pick up. One of the things too, we sell beer and wine here. It's a bar too, but one of the things that we're looking to do is to start selling food. So that's another thing that I'm trying to work on right now, is to offer a small menu. You need to put in a small kitchen here. I'm working on that. I actually just came back with a freezer this morning to put out back. And so, this thing is going to evolve as well over time, and it's just going to get better and better and bigger and bigger. Because eventually we also want to have a liquor license too, which would help our sales as well, and revenue. But overall, this is great for the community. We have the local Chamber of Commerce that's come in here a few times with their group, and they've spread the word, and it's amazing how the word of mouth is helped spread the word. We have people that are in the building that work upstairs that have come down, after work, and just kind of throw bags every day from Monday through Friday from 4 to 6. We have happy hour.
Mm-hmm.
Happy hour, you can come in and you can pay $5 and play in those 2 hours, and just pay $5 for those 2 hours. Other times it's $20 per hour per court. So even if you had 4 people come in, you guys wanted to play for an hour, it costs you $5 each. It's very reasonable. The beer prices are very reasonable. We got $2 natty lights, $2.50 Busch lights. I mean, seltzers, So, we really wanted to make sure that this was geared toward the cornhole people and the cornhole players. And, like I said, it's a work in progress. It's a lot of work. I'm here 7 days a week. And until and the nice thing is there's this kind of a downtime. We don't have any pro nationals until late January, early February. We have some opens coming up, but I'm not going to worry myself with the opens right now. College championships in late December, might go to that. But for right now, I'm mainly focused on this and building this up.
So, with all of your blind draws and stuff going on, do people have to be ACL members to come in and play?
They don't have to, but by the time they leave, they are.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So when someone comes in and say, "Hey, I want to play," I said, "Okay, have you played ACL before?" "No." "Okay, let me set you up a quick profile." Or I tell them, "Hey, just open up a browser, go on this app. It's a free, doesn't cost you anything. Put your information in, and then I just, then they're in." And I've never had any pushback or anything about anything like that as far as people not wanting to do it. like I said, a free membership just gives them a chance to just come in, register, and play in the blind draw.
Well, exactly, and that's the thing I love about the ACL is everyone says, "Oh, money, money, money," but it's you don't have to. You can have that free membership. You don't,
Yeah.
there's other leagues or whatever out there that are charging just to be a member.
Uh-huh.
ACL's not. All you have to do is just download that free app. That's all you have to do, and you're ready to go.
Yeah, and we do for all the blind draws. It's $10 entry. Um, we pay out top 2 or 3 places depending on how many teams there are. We do at least a minimum 80% payout. Sometimes, most of the time, if I'm running it, I just do 100% payout. But I do have other staff that I'm training to run the blind draws when I'm not here. So, um, it's hey, yeah, if you're in the area, you need a place to play. This is the place to come.
Well, with the amount of cornhole players we have starting up here in Canada that fly south to South Carolina for golfing in the winter, I think I think they may now have a place to, because I know for myself in May when I'm in Charlotte for the 600, when there's nothing going on in track, I know where I will be.
Oh yeah,
That's for sure.
that's a great idea. Yeah, yeah, come on down, and we'll have like we're planning on trying to have a warm up to our regional this Saturday, and just do a simulated regional. And so we'll have stuff like that we'll throw in here or there, just to get players warmed up. We might do, a sit and go local point blast day where you come in, and you play sit and goes all day long and try and accumulate as many local points as possible. That we do. We're trying to do as much for the players as we can, and we're trying to grow this area, and the intermediate competitive division is really trying to grow. In the women's division now, we're running for the first time ever in our regional. We're going to have a women's singles division. I don't think we'll have enough for doubles, but at least as the start, we have some really talented women in this area.
Oh, exactly. And you talk about the intermediate and the divisions out there, but it's just intermediate and competitive. But that's kind of where we're going to grow the game the most. There's some
Mm-hmm.
people say there's too much on the pro, but I think there's still a lot on those lower divisions because we are a grassroots sport, and that's what we've seen our most growth up here, because there's, like you said, like we said before, about so many people coming out of COVID and just getting better. It's just we've got people fighting us not to go up to the top divisions because they're liking where they're at. But it's just you get all those top players, and it's just we're seeing great games.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes some players are just comfortable where they are, and that's fine. But we also have to make sure that players are put in the right division, and if they're dominating one division, then they have to move up, and they have to pay their dues at that next level, and it's just going to make them better. But if you're in this sport and you're playing it and you love it that much, I think everybody's mentality is, hey, I just want to get better, and
Mhm.
and the only way to do that is to play people in your division, your level, and learn from there, grow from there, and then develop into something better.
So I know we've talked about kind of new player stuff before, but what's kind of your best advice to give to a new player? Because we've had a lot of new players come here. Like we've got like 20 new players each one of our league nights coming here, which is just incredible. Some of them drive like an hour to come and play with us. But what's your best advice to give a new player just starting out?
Buy yourself a set of boards. Um, Buy yourself a decent set of bags. It doesn't help you to buy some cheap set of bags and boards, and you're not getting that games, that same type of situation when you go to play in a blind draw or you go to play in a random tournament or something like that. Uh, it's about putting some time in, extra time, whether it's half an hour here, an hour there, after work or in the evening or something, outside of the normal. Yes, you need to play in some competitive games. You need to put yourself out there If you're really truly dedicated and you really want to get better, then you gotta play 2 or 3 nights a week or 2 or 3 days a week, and if you can, I know a lot of people can't do that, and their options are limited as far as where they live, but really you just have to go out there and throw. Now, obviously, being able to find the right grip and the right throw that's best for you is just is so important. Being able to throw that flat bag, being able to spin that bag. You watch any of these, top pros. You slow down their videos and you slow down and watch their delivery and you watch their release points. And you watch how methodical some of them are before a throw. I see so many younger players and competitive, and the minute they have the opportunity to throw, they're ready to throw. Their opponent throws, they're throwing. Their opponent throws, they're throwing. You actually watch a pro, and you'll watch, and sometimes for some it can be annoying because they take a little bit more time than others, but at the same time, they're thinking about, and they're picking their spots on the boards. They're thinking about, where they want to, what their next shot is going to be. And they want to just make sure that they're reset after each throw and they're ready to throw. They're not just, because sometimes it's all muscle memory, obviously, but you want to make sure that you're putting yourself and you're throwing in the same spot every time, whether you're stepping, you're not stepping. Obviously focus with your eyes is just as important as anything. Some people tend to kind of wander a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the toughest thing for some of the other players is, you don't have to, you slow it down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Get you the feel of the bag ready, get ready to throw, and just focus on your target.
Yeah, and when you talk about the reset, you don't have to do a Damon Dennis just pause time kind of thing. You just have to reset.
Exactly.
That and then also with the bag thing, and I've always told people, you got to be like Goldilocks. You got to try everything. Don't say, oh, hey, this person throws this bag, so I have to throw that bag. That may not be the bag for you.
Right.
Just go and just try everything that you can before making your decision.
Yeah. And I see so many people use so many different bags from one tournament to the other tournament, especially obviously the competitive and intermediate players, because a lot of them are trying to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
But once you do figure it out, really my recommendation is don't change.
Mm-hmm.
Stay with that bag. Don't go to one tournament and using one bag. Go to another tournament using another bag, and then go to another using another bag. I don't think that's good for your game. I really don't. It doesn't matter if the situation or the conditions are different. Most bags have two sides to them. All of them have two sides to them. Use both sides if you have to.
Yeah.
But I don't see the benefit of having an arsenal of 4 different bags that you're using in different tournaments. All last year, I used an all slide. Never used anything different. Maybe in 1 or 2 situations, I used a game changer. But to me, they're very similar in feel. So I was okay with that. This year, I signed on with Black Sheep, and I love the feel of and there's 2 bags that I really love, and they're Costello and they're Blackwater bags. I just love the feel of it. It feels good to me. I've been practicing a lot with them. And then those are the bags that I'll use all year long. I will not pick up another bag. Every once in a while people will say, hey, feel this bag. I feel a bag, but it doesn't matter to me. I'm 100% on board with the bag that I'm using, and that's the bag that I'll continue to use all year long.
Yeah, well, that was my next question to you, was what bag you're going to be using this year, because I know what you were with all Cornhole, seen a couple of Facebook posts, but so what other sponsors do you have as for your pro status?
Well, right now, like I said, me and Cameron both just signed on with Black Sheep, and so those are the bags that we're going to use this year. They're a great team. They're a great bag. Their customer service is impeccable. Their delivery time for their bags, their gear is great. I can't wait to get some of their new gear and start wearing some of it, and get my new bags that they're in production right now. And I have a couple other sponsors in the fire right now. That's the main one, and that's the most important one to me, is the bag sponsor. And so I'm not quite ready to release anything else yet as far as other sponsors go, but there's some good ones out there.
Well, you know what? I want to thank you for taking this time to talk with me here and to show some other people, because like myself, that there's the one commercial we see you on all the time that kind of a little intimidating, kind of had me a little scared when you just spin the bag. Just that look, it's like, you know what? If I have to play against him, he looks like that. 21-0. I'm just gonna walk away.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. That's a great commercial. I'm very proud of the stuff that we've done here. I'm proud of the people that I work with, and I'm living a dream. Honestly, I left my job, a year ago, to come over full time with the ACL, and took a pay cut, but I didn't care. I get to live in Cornhole 24/7. It's obviously, I need a break away from it, here or there, and I do make sure that I take my downtime away from Cornhole for a minute or two. But just to be a part of this group and the things that I see behind the scenes and the work that people put in behind the scenes and the future of the ACL and Cornhole, it's exciting. It's really, really, really this year, in the next couple years. I mean, you've already seen it. Some of these pros making, a lot of money now, just through bag sponsors. And once more of the sponsors come on board, this, with all the CBS Pro shootouts and the Nationals coming up and everything else, and the new sponsors coming on board for the ACL, we're excited, and it's just great to be a part of this whole thing.
Well, again, I want to thank you for doing this here, and for anyone, if you're in the Rock Hill area, go check out Eric for a blind draw. Or if you're from Canada, going down from golf, leave the clubs at home. Just go and play cornhole. That's all you got to do. Don't even worry about golf. You don't even South Carolina is no longer a golf destination. It's a cornhole destination. So,
that's right.
So again, I want to thank you for coming on, and hopefully I'll be able to see you soon down at the HQ.
Yes, sir. And again, thanks for having me. And shout out to all the players in Canada.
Okay. Hey, thanks.
Thank
you. And I want to thank Eric for coming on the show and talking, and we had a little bit of fun off the top there. As you know, Trey is Eric's son. Just kind of, there's been some stuff in the past where people who should know haven't known that Trey was Eric's son, or Eric was Trey's father, because if you're going to be a top ACL director, you should probably know that. But yeah, thanks again for him coming on. It was a lot of fun. Got to know a lot of the stuff, what's going on in the HQ down in Rock Hill. So any of you people up here in Canada, leave the golf clubs at home. Just take the cornhole bags when you're going to South Carolina in the winter. No more golf destination. It's now a cornhole destination. Go down there, have some fun at the HQ. And then come back up here, talk to us about it, to send more people down. Trying to think of any other news I didn't mention off the top. One would be KW Cornhole going to 2 nights here. So if you're local in KW or in Southwest Ontario, you want to come to KW, League night would now be going back to Monday nights again at the Kingpin Lounge at Binghamton Park in the Boston Pizza, upstairs to the right. Check out their Facebook page. Check out the website, kwcornhole.com. All of that stuff is on there, and you can get all of that info and head there. Other than that, Remember, check out the ACL Canada Facebook page. Then check out the Down and Back Facebook page. And if you're on audio, thank you for downloading on audio or playing or listening, just listening on audio. Again, head over to the YouTube page, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, leave a comment, say, hey, whatever you want. You're an idiot, whatever. I don't care. Everything's going great. Be like Charles that messages all the time. He's always messaging. It's always fun. But, yeah, so other than that, I think we just got a quick close. We got a big show next week. Some really fun guests. We're going to have a fun, going to probably look at probably an hour. We could have to do a two-parter. It could have to be a two-part on the audio download. But yeah, I still can't believe it. I talked about all the stuff that we kind of like the channel's growing. But heading on to year 2. It starts next week with a really fun show, and this one may not be for the kids. That's all I'm going to say. But other than that, as always, watch out for those guys throwing gas, because they might just kick your ass.